so many things, like how to love and how to lose and how to choose.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Linda Carbonell, and welcome to another edition of Walking Through Life. I happen to have my great friend, Mary Adams, with me again today, and she will be coming back to do many, many shows with us. Today's topic and the next 4 topics, Mary and I are going to be talking more or less about happiness and how we can bring a happy life into us. And we're going to try to start at the very beginning where we're first approaching thinking about changing our lives to a more happier life.
Before we get too far. Sorry.
He interrupted.
I interrupted you. I'm going to move this a little bit this way. It's just a little bit in your face. And I'm going to...
At least this is in front of it, right?
Yeah. So I had to cut you off before we got too
Oh, that's
far.
okay. That's okay. We'll start over again.
Yeah.
How'd I do with that introduction so far? So
Awesome.
one of the first questions I'm going to ask you is, okay, so you do work around happiness. So what is it that you do? Is it, do you do training in it? Do you just work with clients and stuff like that, or?
I work with groups and clients. I work with individuals. I work with
We wanna
businesses and helping
Yes.
them. Yeah, and helping them figure out first their core goals, what
Yeah.
it is they're wanting to do, and how to achieve that. And
Now we're
happiness
set.
is a component in that.
He's okay. I'm going to have you say that, but he's just gone back into the room. So I will introduce you, and then I'll introduce you as somebody that's a teacher to groups, and that's your work. And then you can go on, just say what you've just said about it. Okay?
And you don't
Okay,
have to
great.
lean into the mic.
Sounds awesome.
Oh, okay. So I'm fine like this?
You're fine.
Good. I can sit up straight. Okay. I'm going in 3.
Right.
I'm going in 3, Chico, okay? Okay. 1, 2, 3, and I'll put a 4 in just so you can know the difference. Well, hello, this is Linda Carbonell, and welcome to another edition of Walking Through Life. Today, I have my returning guest, Mary Adams, who's a great teacher and facilitator of groups and just individuals and things like that, talking about happiness and helping them change their own lives. So anyway, I would like to introduce Mary Adams once again. Hi, Mary. How are you?
Hi, sweetie. I am great. I am terrific today. Thank you so much for having me on the show again.
Yeah. Would you talk a little bit about something that I just said about the work that you do? Would you let the audience know a little bit more about what you do?
Yes, absolutely. So what I call myself is an empowerment catalyst. And people look at me strange when I tell them that's what I do. But I think it speaks for itself. What I do is I work with individuals, I work with groups, I work with businesses, and I take their goal, their issue, their life dream, and I help them to find the way to create that. And one of the pieces that comes into play all the time is, where are you satisfied in your life? What is stopping you? And what are you happy about? What do you want to create? Because the energy of happiness is something that we cultivate within ourselves, and it has a lot to do with everything else in our life.
Absolutely.
So
I think that's
yeah.
great. Oops, I'm not supposed to lean into the microphone. But anyway, this is great that I've got you here because I'm going to learn so much from you. I really am. And I'm really looking forward to doing that with you. It's nice that we've got this this type of show that we set up through Skype so we can do this. So let's jog right into it. And where do we want to start? Do we want to start with maybe the difference between the light, the dark, and the in-between? How do you get to
Absolutely.
the
That
light?
sounds great. So what I would say is this, is that people feel that if they are not feeling happy, that they have somehow failed at life. And we are shown through the media, we are shown through examples around us that those people who are the happiest have money, they have, the house, they have the 2.5 children with the white picket fence, with the BMW in the driveway. They're taking these fantastic vacations. They've got a bank account that's huge. And we have been drawn to believe that if we don't have those things, there is something wrong with us. We are not succeeding in life. We are somehow missing out. We are not living to our fullest. And so I think the basis of happiness is, what are your agreements or your ideas or belief systems that create whether you're happy or not? And these belief systems start from the day that we're conceived, because we can hear in the womb, we feel our mother's emotions. And if our mother is having high levels of anger, we feel that, we absorb that, we become that. And they have studies now. There's all these amazing studies about what we absorb in utero. So if we come to understand that everything in our life teaches us, and we're like these little sponges that absorb, and when we see something happen, we take it as truth. We go, well, look, this person's reacting this way to this situation, so that must be the way to handle it. Because we're little monkeys when we're babies. We practice our craft by watching other people. So if we understand that these belief systems that we're unconscious of are creating our line in the sand of what happiness is or is not, we are not truly in charge.
So how would somebody recognize that they're not? I mean, you know, because if they're going through life and they think they're happy the way they are and they're really not, how do they actually recognize the difference of being happy to being happier? How can they actually notice that maybe they're not as happy as they could be?
Well, it's when those triggers come up. It's those moments of anxiety, stress. Those are the gifts. Those are the indications of something needs to shift. And so what I do for myself, and this is a process, this is not something that you master. This is something that's a tool that you do all the time, being in charge of your own happiness. So when you feel anxiety coming up, you get honest. What is this about? And at first it's, oh, the kids made me late for work this morning. I couldn't get everything done, blah, 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 whatever that is. And you go, okay, well, that might be slightly true. Let's go a layer beneath that. I don't like my job. I wake up grumpy. I'm not prepared in the morning. I'm not eating breakfast. I'm not honoring myself. I'm not, I'm spending my time putting out fires. And that right there is the golden nugget of your answer.
Oh, another example.
And
sorry. I was just thinking of another example of that too, is that for years I wanted to quit smoking, but actually I thought to myself, did I really? Because I always ended up going back to smoking. And the difference for me this time is I looked at it as it was something that I truly wanted to do, because I have all these plans of making my life more healthy. And how can I do that if I'm still smoking? And instead of saying, well, I don't think I can do it, I changed my mind to saying, this is going to make me happier, healthier, and I can do it. I'm not going to sit there and say I can't do this anymore, because I know I can. I'm strong. I'm sick of people not being able to be around me because I smell or whatever. So actually, by being able to achieve that, I am the happiest that I've ever been, and I'm still working on it. So I can't say, that, this is all over and done. But for me, this is where I'm happy again. I'm happy again because I found out, what that root was to why I didn't succeed in quitting smoking. So is that what you're talking about? Something like, kind of like figuring that stuff out too?
So it absolutely is about being truthful and authentic and honest with yourself about the truth of what's really happening. What are you really feeling? So many times we're conditioned to put a smile on our face or say yes when we mean no, or to do things to please other people when it goes against what we have the time for, the ability to do, or the desire. Mm-hmm. And that's a place where we get stuck so much, and we think we have to live our life that way, and that's what creates unhappiness.
Yeah, and I think for me too is being because I suffered from agoraphobia where I wouldn't go out, and I think the biggest reason for that is because I came up against so much stigma for somebody that had mental illness, somebody that was big, and I absolutely thought other people would write. I bought into that, and so I felt like I was a disappointment and that I should just be within the four walls of my house. And then it got so that I couldn't even go out. But you know what? Once I tried to go out and I succeeded, I started feeling better and happier. And it was just like, wow, I did that, And that was what led me down the first roads of my finding my happiness. Absolutely. So I think you're right.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're so right on that. And
and it's breaking up with the agreement. It's breaking up with the agreement of I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not young enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not capable.
Yep.
I don't have the resources. I don't have the ability. I mean, you can come up with 5 million excuses.
Exactly.
And I have people that come to me with excuses all the time. And here's the one that gets to me that's the most powerful that I hear from people. Well, I have cancer and they gave me a time limit. I'm going to die in 6 weeks. And you know what I tell them? Well, you got 6 weeks. You better get started, buddy. Let's go. Come on. We got some life to live in that 6 weeks, man. And you know what happens when we do that? They live.
Yeah, absolutely.
They get well.
Yeah.
Because they have purpose again. They have meaning. When you're laying there and you feel like your body's rotting away, you therefore mentally will rot away.
Right.
But if you get busy and you start crossing stuff off that list and you start honoring your truth, and that means making time to make this life of yours. This is precious. This is an opportunity. This is a biological accident that you have consciousness, that you're sitting on planet Earth and you have ability to do anything you want with this moment. That's power.
That's right.
That's what every one of us has. Everybody.
And I think that's absolutely right. But, I want to talk a little bit more about finding the happiness for me. This is what I did, okay? So I realized that, maybe people have told me that I can't sing or I can't draw or I can't do this because I'm big or I can't do this because I'm disabled or whatever. And I bought into that. So I started saying to myself, well, I'm going to just change and do whatever I want to. And the best things that I did last year for the show, okay, and for me, I should say, is that I had 2 fashion shows. I had 2 fashion shows here. And then my inner child and me had a teddy bear wedding outside my house, and we had several people come, and they loved it. We had a cake. We had everything, So, the little kid in me likes to play. So I just say, you know what? It's okay. It's all right to do that, And I'm finding more and more my truth of being able to do what I really want to do. I just gotta do it. And instead of saying I'm going to try it, I'm just going to do it. And so I think that's what, and Mary, I'm saying that happened last year because I want you to know talking to you and doing things with you has really, really made a difference in my life. Really, I mean, I can remember on your radio show and we were talking to Mark Helligis from The Turning Point. And I can remember the point that he was telling you about the struggles that I went through and everything else. And instead of saying, oh, that's great, you overcame or anything like that, you said to me, it sounds, Linda, like you have found the true you. And I want you to just go and do whatever makes you happy. And that made such a difference to me, Mary. I just wanted to let you know that because I don't know if I've ever told you that. And I follow you on Facebook all the time. I go on, I get all the inspirational sayings and everything. I send them to everybody, I just get so excited about you and what you do. And I know that me and you have the same sort of story in the beginnings with the physical disabilities and everything too, And isn't it wonderful to be able to celebrate ourselves? And you do that well, and it helps me. And now I'm creating this too. So I really wanted to thank you about that. And, you know, and yeah, really, Mary, this is why I value you so much. And I want to bring you to the Walking Through Life audience because you're an inspiration, you know, and I feel that I'm an inspiration too. So just imagine putting the two of us together, what we're going to do, you know, you never know.
You are an incredible inspiration to me with everything that you've created and done. And here's, you know, going to the core, and this is what you've done, is you realized your worth. You realized that you had this seed, and you allowed the seed to grow and rise up. And now you're in this place where you're just blooming, and you're allowing each layer and each level to unfold. And as you do that, your own personal journey begins to shift, and you learn what's most important. And it doesn't mean you don't have bad days.
Right.
But when you have those bad days, you remember what this is all really about. You remember what is most important here and what you need to do to care for this.
And this
has to come first.
Exactly. And a lot of it is learning, you know, being open to listen to people, to trying new things, you know. And so, you know, I always look to learn something new. I love that. I really do. And I told you about the one thing that Dr. Phil inspired me from is because on one of his openings, he says, I want you to get excited about your life. And I just love that statement. I love that statement because I've gotten so excited about my life, you know. So
well, let's talk about that, because you talked about playfulness, and that is the first key to getting excited. And people, the way you find that, you know, everyone says, oh, I don't have that inner child. Oh, yeah, you do.
Yep.
It's in there. Yep. I promise. And what it is it's those moments where you're looking at something, or you're doing something, or you see something, and you go, wow.
Yep.
And a lot of times when we have that wow moment, we go, I can't do that because I'm too old. I'm a parent. I'm a blah, 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 blah. No. That's the moment that you write it down on your list, or you get on Google and you Google it and you go find it and you figure out how to make it happen, because your being is telling you. That's that inner child. And we all, I don't care how old you are, that inner child is very awake and aware in you all the time. It is a part of your psyche and your consciousness. And so by honoring that, and allowing it out to play, it changes your entire life.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't wait to show you my fairy garden. I'm going to take some pictures when I get it up this year and show it to you. But and you know, my purpose in that, I think, is that everybody has a child in them. So if they see this fairy garden and they see this bucket that's got, you know, make a wish and the fairies may make it come true, it's not just kids, it's adults too. Because when you see something like that, absolutely, like you said, it's your inner child coming out. So it's not just kids that get enjoyment out of it. It's everybody. Everybody loves it, you know? And this is a way of giving back, too.
Exactly. I have this class that I put on, and it's so inspiring because at the beginning of every class, everyone comes together, and it's a bunch of adults, and they're being proper, and no one will look at each other or talk to one another, and everybody's, you know, starched. And then I get out the wigs and the mustaches and the balloons, and we go through all these exercises of releasing what's blocking that from coming out. And by the end, I have them holding hands, dancing in a circle around the person in the middle. And we have this little mantra that we do, this little song. Look at Mary, she's so cool. We're in a circle. Yahoo!
Yeah.
And we make up all these crazy lyrics. And I had a man who was 72 years old in one of my classes a few years ago. And and I know him well, and he sent me an email about a year ago, and he said, you know, I have to tell you, that class changed my life. And I am having so much fun. And you know what it's doing? It's keeping him alive. All of his physical issues have started to melt away. All of the depression has started to go away because he's tuned in to the energy of happiness. He's making choices. When he's making a choice, he says, does this make me happy? Nope. Okay, go on.
Yep. Find the next one.
Choosing conscious.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I think that this subject is very, very good about finding your inner child, because a lot of us will say, oh, we don't want anybody to think that we're crazy, or we don't want anybody to think we don't know what we're doing, or anything like that. So we often put a blinder up and say, oh, we can't do something like that. They'll think that, but why do we care what other people think? That's what I say. I did that for many years. It didn't work for me, So I like to be just me. It makes me more confident. It makes me happier. Very much happier. And in doing that, I feel confident to bring it out there so other people can see it. And if it helps them, that's great, And that's what the show is all about too, And I know during this series of the happiness, we got so much to go through, so much. That's why I said the 4 staples for me and you, and then we'll see if we can get some guests to come on and participate too. That would be wonderful, I think, because you are a great teacher. And I got to say this, I think I'm a great teacher too, just so you know.
Yes, you are.
I could teach anybody
That's
to
why we're
walk
doing
in a
it
fashion
together.
I could teach anybody to walk in a fashion show with pride. Yep. Or build their own fairy garden or whatever, So, yeah.
That's right.
So what do you
That's
think
right.
what do you think the next next week? Which part of the happiness should we work on?
Well, I think that we should talk about how to really tap into that happiness energy. And maybe what would be lovely is to bring in some tools to teach people how to identify, how to create the map to get to that happiness place, because sometimes it's not such a simple thing.
Right.
It's not just going, well, I'll just go do this. Sometimes it's a whole lifestyle change.
It has to
I
be.
can bring a lot of clarity on that.
And that's why I love you, Mary. I know you could. Woohoo! So I think that's absolutely. And I want to say to the audience, too, is tune in, because, Mary's got a lot of good tools. And, and I pride myself in, knowing that I have overcome. I was diagnosed with 5 mental illnesses when I first got disability. Now I'm down to 1. And then I still struggle a little bit with anxiety and stuff, but not bad, not enough to really say I'm disabled because of it. So anybody can overcome being miserable or, not being able to do things. And I think with guidance with Mary, and she's got the tools and everything, if this is something that you really, really, really would like to focus on with us, let us know. Mary's going to give her information, and I believe that everybody's got my email. If not, I'll give it to you real quick. It's walklife@comcast.net. And if anybody has any questions for Mary or any subjects that you'd like to talk about after we do the Happiness Project, then please email me or Mary. Do you want to give your information so that people can get a hold of you and find out more about you and maybe ask you questions?
Absolutely. So you can contact me at co-creatormaryadams@gmail.com. And you can also find me on Facebook under that same email address. And I look forward to connecting with you. We have a lot of incredible tools and opportunities to offer through this show. And thank you for watching.
Yeah. That's what I'd like to say, too, is thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope this show is helpful for you. And I know the next series that we're going to be doing and talking about is topics that we all need. We all need to find a way to live a happier life. So I want to thank all of you for being here, too, and I hope you turn in next time to Walking Through Life. So I want to thank Mary again. Let's give her applause. And thank you to you guys for tuning in. And go out and, do your fashion show and make fairy gardens. Okay, we'll see you next time on Walking Through Life with Mary and me. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, start now.
Wait a minute. Malfunction in the decorations. I think I touched something. Wait a minute. Step right there. How's that? I won't touch the table.
That's great.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Oh, Chico, I'm going to put a flag there. Okay.
Walking through this life of mine, well, it's teaching me so many things, like how to love and how to lose. and how to choose.